Hello, everyone. This is Mike Fuson from Excalibur Data Systems with the Excalibur Data Systems Tech Talk. I'm joined today by Manish Sharma from Rezolve.ai. Manish and I have a funny story of how we met, and we've been able to get involved with the team at Rezolve on a couple of very interesting projects, and we're looking forward to all of the other stuff that's going to come. Thanks for joining me today, Manish.
Absolutely a pleasure. Thank you, Michael, for having me.
So we got to tell the story of how we met. So Manish and I were at the HDI conference in Las Vegas, and Manish
We got
and one of
locked
the other.
out. Me and Josh got locked out, isn't it?
They got locked out of the expo center, and they were knocking on the door, and I opened it for them and got yelled at by security for doing so. And we got to talking, and here we are. We're working together on some really interesting projects for customers. But it was kind of funny because Rezolve happened to have a solution to a problem that one of our customers was looking for, very specifically solved by Rezolve, and almost nothing else on the face of Earth. And just was happenstance that we got a chance to really dig into and then talk about what it's doing. So, Manish, share with us a little bit about who Rezolve is. What do you guys do?
Yeah, perfect. By the way, it was meant to be, I suppose, right? We were supposed to meet there and develop this partnership, which is blossoming right now. So thank you again for having me, Michael. It's a pleasure for Rezolve and me. So Rezolve is a reaction to what was happening in the marketplace. And I'm talking about service desk, employee support kind of marketplace. And what was happening for us for last around 10, 20 years, things were pretty much the same. You had a ticketing system, which was agents were using that. They were supposed to be used by employees as well, but the truth is that employee never used the ticketing system. They never liked to use the ticketing system. Some organization forced them to use, some cajoled them to use, but the truth is that the employees never liked using the ticketing system. Instead, what they were doing was they were picking up the phone, they were writing emails, they were texting, they were writing messages, whatever it take to avoid going to the ticketing system. And end result of all this was that the employees were not getting great service, because what you do is you make a phone call and then someone creates a ticket on your behalf, and when they start working on the ticket, they come to you, and maybe you are not there on your desk at that point of time, and there's back and forth that will happen, and maybe 12 hours have gone and you are saying, what was such a simple request, what happened? So if you go to any of the conferences, people always keep talking about how we are going to improve self-service, and it's a culture, and it's a this, and it's a that. And while all that is great, the point was that something needed to happen at the technology level, something almost like iPhone. When the iPhone burst into the scene, nobody expected it to happen, but it happened, and then we all started using a different kind of phone. So something needed to happen at the technology level that will just change the game. And that is what basically made us start Rezolve.ai. We were, me and the other of co-founders have been involved in service desk for last 20, 25 years of our life. We saw the dial not moving, and then we saw new AI-based technologies coming in. And we said, wow, this looks, this can solve the same problems in a whole different way. Got really interested. We started the product company. It's never easy to start a product company. You go through thousands of, challenges. But luckily for us, we were able to wade through those challenges and kind of implement our vision, which is a great employee experience, which is a lot of automation, and which is, access via Microsoft Teams. These are two or three, the core tenet to what we do. Our vision includes integrations everywhere, right? Not a isolated ticketing system sitting in the corner, just counting tickets, but integrated, well-integrated system that talks to everything around its all ecosystem, right? All your enterprise ecosystem. It automates, it creates workflows, it is accessible to employees. Nobody has to ever go to a ticketing system. The employees never have to go to a ticketing system, and still they can get all the help they want. So that's what triggered us to come to go through this experience and create a product that customers seem to like.
Yeah, and it's interesting because kind of our conversation started on the fact that Resolve is an ITSM system. So it has the ability to do the ITSM, but there's other components of it, such as chatbots and automation, as you talked about, that make up the solution. And you don't have to buy all of them. You can buy all of them. You can buy parts of them, parts and pieces that will work for your organization. So it kind of started the conversation between Manish and I was we had a customer wanted a Teams-based chatbot.
Yeah.
Seems like a simple solution. There
Yep.
aren't actually a lot of very good ones out there. And
Yep.
what they really wanted, as it turned out, was the ability to wrap automation behind that chat structure. Where if somebody says, hey, I need an account on Zoom, and that's something that doesn't require approval, we can just provision it as needed. We're able to marry that technology. We can create the ticket in their ticketing system, or it could be created in Resolve. Either way, perfectly happy doing either. But what Resolve's able to do is the AI chatbot is able to say, okay, hey, let me help you do that. And then actually kick off the automation to go out to Zoom, provision the account, and tell the person, hey, you're good to go. No human interaction needed. And that's the whole key, I think, to some of the AI side of it, which is it's for these simple asks that there's no complex stuff going on. It's something I've been talking about for years. There's not a lot of complexity to it, but when a human being has to go through and do these things, and I always use the example of, I need my mailbox size increased.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we're going to need to get approval, right? You put your business case together, somebody approves it. We can have technology go out and increase the mailbox size. The reality is a human can go do that, but it'll take them 17 clicks and 10 minutes to do it, where technology can go out and go, okay, I've got the approval. I'm going to increase it to whatever the next size of mailbox is. And it just goes out and takes care of the situation. It comes back and says, okay, it's complete. Well, let's resolve the ticket. Comes back and says, Microsoft gave me an error. Okay, let's kick this over to a human being. We have these abilities to build these workflows. And so 99 times out of 100, it works perfectly. One time somebody's got to deal with it. Rather than 100, somebody has to deal with something that's a relatively pedestrian activity. And when you start to put the chatbots in place, people can interact with them. And the chatbot can help them figure out exactly what it is they're asking for, because they may not know for sure. And then Resolve's taken it a step further, right? Because we see these companies that have these chatbots, and that's all they do is chatbot. But you guys have built it and married it with live chat capabilities if a customer wants that. So a customer can chat with an actual technician, but a technician can use the same tools that the AI does to do the same thing. So a technician can click the button to say, hey, go out and do this for me. And the AI and the workflow is going to take care of taking care of that. And that customer felt like they got a white glove service.
That's right. That's right. If you think about what happened last year, right? We went through some strange last 2 years, isn't it? Last 2 or 3 years. We had the pandemic hit. Everyone was working from home. Then there was, everyone was worried about their job, and then there was labor shortage, right? Like suddenly you couldn't find people to hire for your service desk even if you wanted to. So all these kind of things really, and now suddenly we are thinking more of automation. So it has been a very topsy-turvy road for last 2-3 years. But the common denominator is this here, right? If we continue working the service desk the old-fashioned way, take the L1 job, right? Typical L1 job. Majority of the time is spent creating tickets, taking phone calls, doing some simple password resets, right? Things of that nature, right? Which everyone knows intuitively, right? It doesn't need you and me to tell anyone that this can be automated. I think everyone knows that this could be automated, should be automated, right? Why should we be doing this anymore, right? But the idea is, how do you execute that, right? Like the idea, I think everyone knows that this should be executed. How do you make it accessible to people so that people can self-serve? How do you make it accessible in such a way that people actually love to self-serve? They're not forced to, go and do this. I don't do it any other way, but they actually go. It's convenient, it's accessible, it's easy, it's playful, and you can get things done. And within 3-4 seconds or 10-15 seconds, you are done, and you're saying, "Wow, this is amazing." So I think we all intuitively know where we have to go, right, and what we are trying to do. But it's a matter of execution, right? Can you make it happen seamlessly? And you're absolutely right. People came in the beginning, they think in the beginning they need a chatbot, right? Everyone says, listen, I've heard about this chatbots and I like a chatbot. Love it if it works great on Teams. Fantastic. But when you tell them, oh, by the way, you can back it up with a live chat if you want, with a connection to an expert, human expert. Wow, that's great. Oh, by the way, this bot can do things. It's not just giving answers, but it can do things. Oh, that's amazing. Will it go to Active Directory and do this? Yeah, of course it will. It will go to Zoom. Yes. And then final frontier is doing more complex things which need like approvals, right? Like employee onboarding, employee offboarding. It is like 3 departments and 20 activities, right? Like, and they had to be done in particular sequence. Don't do this unless until you can do that. So those kind of activities, and knowing what you need to do first, then you need to do that, and then go seek an approval from Michael, and so on and so forth. And then even next from that is desktop automation, where if you need something to happen at your desktop level, right? Like you have a SharePoint issue, and then the bot saying, okay, you know what, I can run a PowerShell script for you and make it happen. So basically what I'm trying to say is that you take the basic chatbot idea and you keep adding more muscle and power to it, right? That's what we all Americans do, right? We don't want just cars, we want muscle cars, right? We want more. So this is what more is. We keep adding, we add more power to it. We said, what if I can do this? And what if the bot can also do that? And what if, of course, there are checks and balances and security protocols, and who can do what, and when, all those kind of built in within the system. But that's what the dream is, and that's what we are delivering on that dream.
So, Manish and I are going to be doing a whole series of tech talks where we dive into each of these topics and be able to show you a little bit about how Rezolve's tackling and solving these problems. So, keep watching. There's more coming from the team at Excalibur and Rezolve. Don't hesitate to go out to the excaliburdata.com website. We have information on Rezolve. We'd love to get together with you, talk about how it can solve some of the problems we've just talked about today. We'll get Manish and his team on board with it and tell you how we can bring the power of Rezolve to your organization. Manish, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. What a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll see you all again soon on another Excalibur Data Systems Tech Talk. Take care, everyone.